It's like how
Could you actually on the steps on the same note, can you actually do something like that? Or you do the beat? I'm not saying you need to do it, but that's kind of funny.
just pixelate.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started.
All right.
Hey, episode 2 of CFB Talk here. We got Kyle, Marty, and Silas with us. Justin couldn't make it tonight. So let's get things started. Kyle, how you holding up since we talked last? How you holding up? Just with quarantine and everything.
He's lost his voice. He's not doing very well.
No, you just give it 5 more seconds to it's going through.
I'm back.
Okay.
You were here the whole time.
Wait, did you hear
Cut
that?
out. Everybody was empty. I just heard Marty say, "Give it 5 more seconds." That's all I heard. Okay. Hey, let's get started. Episode 2 of CFB Talk. It was a great week for me. Kyle, how are you holding up? Just being in quarantine. How's everything going?
Everything's going well. Just taking care of the land, the boys. We're hanging in there. I've been golfing a lot, so I can't complain.
Good. Silas, what do you got? How about you?
I'm a little worried about Kyle and his internet situation. Just if times got tough, I don't know what you would do with yourself, man. But I'm doing good. Got the mustache going in honor of my dad, and highlight of my whole week was Last Dance. So
Of course.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But I loved watching that as well. Marty, how about you? You still doing your sit-ups and push-ups 3 times a day?
Sit-ups and push-ups. I will say this. The other night, my wife and I watching TV, and I have double stuffed Oreos on the coffee table, and I blinked and I ate a sleeve and a half of Oreos and then fell asleep on the bed. Didn't brush my teeth, and then woke up the next morning. And Allison's like, "Yeah, you just ate Oreos and then just like passed out on the bed." I was like, or passed out on the couch. So, rule of thumb: don't eat Oreos before bedtime.
And for
put your
those that don't know, Marty and brushing teeth. I mean, that's a big deal that you didn't.
I did
brush your
not.
teeth when you went to
I didn't
bed.
floss. I had like a 8-year running, did not miss flossing. So,
Every
and you
day.
guys know, I called you out in Memphis about not flossing, and
I remember that. Yes.
oh my gosh,
So awesome. Okay, but you're holding up though.
I'm
But-
good.
but,
I'm
hey,
good.
You know what? You can start a new streak. That's what the beauty of streaks.
I'm starting tonight.
Okay, good. First thing in the news just came through today. Gronk to Tampa Bay. Thoughts, Kyle?
I mean, I think I'm just curious to know he retired for a reason. So is it just 1 year? I mean,
Reports did come out that that Patriots were going to trade him to Detroit, right? And he said,
Mhm.
I'm only ever going to play for Tom Brady, and so I'd rather retire. And he retired. That's and then along with the 20 concussions. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think what's hard to tell is what is just natural frat boy and what's concussion. You know what I mean? And so seeing those two, it's hard to differentiate. I think, though, it'll be good. I'm curious to see how they use him. I mean, with O.J. Howard, I'm curious to know if they're going to have both those guys. That could look similar to Hernandez, Gronk, that combo. So I think it'll be good. I'm just curious to know, why now and see how it holds up.
yeah, will he have an above average impact on the team? Marty, what do you think?
Absolutely. Actually, I have a question. Is Cameron Brate still on Tampa?
Stat guy, Silas. Let's look that up.
He's because here's the deal. You're not going to keep Gronk, Brate, and O.J. Howard. So I think Gronk is probably a top 5-6 tight end. I don't know if you can name
After
5 or 6.
you're off, you think so?
Where are you going to slot him into? Is he behind? I mean, you have what, Kelsey and Kittle, and the guy from the Eagles or whatever. But
yeah, Cameron Brate is still with the Buccaneers.
yeah, they're going to try and trade probably OJ Howard or Cameron Brate. They're not going to have 3 of those guys on there. I mean, their team's going to be good. I think Gronk's going to be average at the very least.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going
to make Tom Brady so much better and all the other players better. Like either they're going to throw it to Gronk or they're going to throw it to the other receivers.
Well, it definitely the defense has to make some choices, right? You're gonna. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of threats. So.
Well, and look at their running back. They're not running the ball.
Oh.
So.
I mean, if you have that good of a pass, I mean, maybe it makes the running game better though. You can have an average. Like the Patriots never had top end running backs, but they've always had decent running backs because of how good Brady is, right?
Yeah, but they also had like 3 or 4 of them. I mean, there's guys out there that are Kareem Hunt and like Devontae Freeman. I mean, there's some good guys out there still.
Yeah.
So
be interesting. But does this, if they weren't already, does this put them, toward the top of the list for Super Bowl contender?
No.
You still don't like them?
No. I think I don't think Super Bowl. I don't know. They don't even get out of the division. I don't think they're going to beat the Saints.
Yeah, that's gonna be some good games.
What about though? Is anybody concerned with Gronk? He dropped all that weight. Is putting all that weight back on gonna be tough? I mean, he like trimmed down big time.
Yeah. Well,
he could be
when
faster.
The season started, he's got a lot of time, I guess, right?
True.
I think he's gonna be faster.
Okay. Awesome. Let's move on. You guys want to move in to our guest? Do you guys have any guesses of who our surprise guest is for today? He is here waiting. He's been listening to you fools talk, and he can't wait to talk to you. So what are your guesses, Marty?
I'm gonna say what I forgot it. It's probably gonna kill me if I don't know his name, but Reed's dad.
Ryan.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Ryan's in the house. That's what I think. Ryan and Reed.
You think they're both in the house?
I think it's 11 o'clock over there, right?
Duo, yeah.
They're I can't remember. Is that Central or I think they're 2 hours ahead.
Oh, okay.
So we really struggle with that part of the country and time zones. We've been over this.
Okay, true. Silas, let's convert over, and then if our guest wants to turn on his camera, unmute.
Hey! Listen up here, brothers. The prophecy of the college football guys is among you. Some guys who have no team of their own have brought everybody into their circle.
I love it.
Yes. We got Travis from Baylor, who we just got to hang out with not that long ago, just this last year. Travis, how you holding up? Or many of you might know him as T-Rex, the ultimate Baylor fan. How you holding up?
Doing good. Pretty bored, but
yeah.
Pretty good overall. I work from home anyway when I'm not traveling for work, so that hasn't been no adjustment for me. But just trying to stay busy as much as possible.
Nice. I think you told us, and then I just saw on Twitter that you had a recent move too. So you moved and then kind of almost immediately went into this quarantine then, right? I mean, it wasn't too long.
Yeah. We moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area from Kansas City at the beginning of December. So yeah, I didn't get much time to adjust to the new surroundings.
I moved places in the house, so let's hope this gets better.
Awesome. And then the other thing, Silas just had your Twitter up, and that reminded me, you had a Baylor honored you with a big award or a honorary kind of award or a diploma. What was that experience like? And maybe just exactly what was it that they did for you?
I actually have it right here. Actually, that's convenient. I don't know if you can put that there, but no. So for those, a lot of people don't know, I didn't actually attend Baylor. I went to school out in Western Texas. Grew up in Waco, though. A huge Baylor fan, obviously. So I was nominated as a distinguished alumni by choice, which goes through like a selection process. So myself and my brother actually both were picked. They have a committee, so it's just like an honorary degree, honorary alumni by choice. So it was a great honor because our dad actually got that back in the 80s when the first year that they did that. So that was kind of cool to bring it all full circle.
Nice. Cool. And I remember when we talked to you, your dad has a lot to do with kind of your Baylor story. And so I'm sure that was, kind of a cool impactful thing that happened to you.
Yeah. And it saved me probably, like $250,000.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Marty, Kyle, what do you guys got for T-Rex?
So did you end up getting the helmets? I know at one point we talked about a trade that you.
Oh boy!
You got some cool new gear?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just to give you a quick update, Travis. Every time we talk, we make fun of Kyle because of how bad his internet is, and
He's
here
got
it is, just again picking it.
Walmart connection. He got his connection to Walmart. Yeah, actually. So 1 second.
Oh man,
he's about to pull it out.
So I haven't decorated, I haven't put shelving up or anything yet, so I don't have anything really on display in my guest room. But yeah, no, I got I had 2 of them.
Come on now.
Did you put that on?
Yeah, I got the chrome lid. Put a custom visor on it that I got off of eBay, and then I got a few other helmets that I've gotten off of eBay and stuff. But yeah, no, I did get that helmet. I got 2 of them. Traded Matt Rule, that starter jacket. I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Which I actually got back from him.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought that was kind of a cool gesture that he did. Because he obviously didn't have to, but I thought that was kind of a cool thing because he knew the history and the importance of it, and I thought that was kind of an amazing thing that he gave it back to you when he left.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I just happened to he sent me a text message. He got my number from somebody, which is always weird when your phone number starts floating around places. He sent me a text message, thanking me and everything, and right as he was leaving there. So it was maybe the week after he, announced that he was going. So I just waited until I was in Waco for a basketball game and swung down and got it. So that was really great. So it went back in my mom's closet, and it's probably not coming back out, unless I throw him an extra 100 pounds and eat a 3X or whatever size.
I remember that one was huge. Yeah, that's awesome.
That was pretty.
You guys are coming off, maybe a magical season in a lot of ways, I would say, and you had this great run, and you had this amazing coach, and the coach went to the NFL now, and and at least our perspective, I think you got a pretty good replacement. But how do you feel about this season? Just kind of losing that big piece of the magic that was, that happened last year.
I mean, it's always difficult, when any coaching change, and Baylor's been through, I think that was our 3rd coach in, I guess 5 years, technically. We had the interim coach for 1 year, but I'm really excited because half of our coaching staff has a national championship ring now. So we poached half the LSU staff pretty much. And so they know how to win, obviously, and they know how to recruit. And we've actually the last couple of weeks been picking up recruits, and it's how are you recruiting somebody if you can't even see them? So I'm excited. It's difficult. There's some animosity between Baylor fan base over the whole rule departure thing. But I'm hey, no, man, if somebody offered me $70 million,
it's pretty, you'd almost question his sanity if he didn't accept it. Right. That's crazy.
Not everybody can be Jimbo. So, you got to go to the NFL to get $70 million.
Yeah. Marty, did you have something you were going to ask him?
Yeah, well, not really ask, but I think the one thing that took me back a little bit when just kind of knowing we were going to Baylor and then finding you, and when I just saw how you were interacting with other Baylor fans, I've never seen a single fan be so wild and so into their team. I'm trying to think of, and maybe you guys can back me up on this. I haven't seen a single fan out there that does what you do. And so when we saw you, it was we have to meet this guy. We need him on our show. And it was, I don't know, it's wild how passionate you are. And that's the type of thing that we love and we love to document. So that's awesome.
No, I appreciate it, man. It just kind of, it was, it just comes natural. I don't know why. And I don't know how I'm engaged, to be honest. So, like, she's been to 2 games now with me, and she actually went to a game last year when we played Kansas up there. My brother and his wife flew in, so my brother's pretty much the same as me, a little less vocal online. But if you can imagine, like, you know, how are these women interested in us at all?
That's so awesome. Hey, but you found one that is, so yeah, don't mess that up.
Yeah.
Right? You know, the other thing, just kind of going off of what Marty said, that struck me was that, you know, even if we had seen anyone that is quite at your level, it would be just football. And what strikes me is when I look at your social media, this is an exaggeration, but you're like, I'm going to the women's chess match, and you're wearing your get up and you're cheering for them, you know, and I've just seen so many, like, just sports. I mean, it seems like you're going to everything and that you're all out no matter the sport. And football is just one of the sports you support, really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, like, I played football, and, you know, it's Texas, so, like, football's king. That's the only sport that I ever played. So, you know, obviously football's like a big part of our family. And it started there. But then, you know, being in the Big 12 and living in Kansas, you know, I got Kansas State, Kansas, and Iowa State within easy driving distance. So I just started deciding, well, if I can't go to that many football games, let me at least go to something. So it started with, like, men's basketball and then women's basketball, because I know they're going to win. So, enjoyable trip. And then last year I started the men's tennis Big 12 championship was in Kansas. So I made the trip out there, and I built a really good relationship with the women's and men's coaches, especially the men's coach. And so he's invited me, you know, come to whatever games, you know, do whatever I want at the games. Like, even it's a tennis match, we're yelling, and that's just kind of split off. This year I was hoping, you know, my plans originally were to go to at least one of every sport. Obviously, you know, all the spring sports got canceled, so that didn't work out. I did get to go watch horses for the first time. I didn't know what was going on at an equestrian match, but it looked fun. But yeah,
are you wearing your mask at an equestrian match?
Not at the equestrian match. I didn't want to, like, spook the horse, you know. So, I'm a big guy, but I'm not I'm not that big.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that, but I mean, I definitely wear it to, like, the men's and women's tennis matches, and obviously basketball and football, and then I planned on baseball and softball, and even our, like, acrobatic and tumbling. I was going to try and go to a meet for that, and so, you know, you meet the coaches when you're, like, as kind of out there on social media as I am, and going to games, and I'm obviously recognizable. So I built some relationships with the coaches, and, you know, I feel like those smaller sports don't get any support, like, other than parents, really, you know.
Sure.
Especially if it's a road game that I can make to, like, now I'm living in Dallas Fort Worth, so if we play TCU, it's a 30-minute drive, so why not? What else am I doing on a Tuesday at 2:00? You know, like, just bounce out, shut the computer off, and just go. Luckily, I'm kind of in that position now where I can kind of do that. But no, yeah, I mean, I just love Baylor in general. That's what we grew up around. So I figured, you know, I meet some of these players at the football games, and, like, oh, I recognize you from, like, a Twitter post. And I'm like, this guy looks like, you know, they're really good this year, so why not go support them? And then it just kind of sprung off into that.
So awesome. I have a question, as long as my internet holds up. My apologies. But so T-Rex, your, like, support is at such another level. If another you and was like, we need some of that at our program for hire and go support somebody else to give an injection, or are you only Baylor? Would you ever be willing to root for anybody else?
I think I'll be a translator. I think he's basically saying, well, you know, would you ever consider hiring out your services to other schools because of the impact you have on, you know, with fans?
You know, I mean, it would have to be like some contractual clause that nowhere within, like, 10 years did they ever schedule Baylor in any sport. Maybe, I don't know, but, like,
right.
I don't know.
Or maybe rule money. With rule money, you can't say no, maybe. So maybe something like that.
So, you know, for me, $7 million, you know, I'll gladly wear certain colors. There's still some colors that I could never, you know. You know, I don't know. I mean, I've had people ask me that, like, you know, from away games, especially if I go to an away game, they'll see me and they're like, dude, like we need fans like you. And I'm just like, hey, man, you just got to show up. Like, you don't have to dress up and be crazy with a mask on. Just, like, show up to the game and just be loud. And definitely yell at the refs because that's how you get everybody else going. So, I mean, I played Division III ball. So like, maybe if like a smaller school like reached out to me there, I don't know, but probably not another Power 5 team for sure, because Baylor's trying to only play Power 5s now. We're trying to pad the schedule a little bit better.
I need to ask a question about your mask, Travis. Tell me, when did that start? Like, when did you start wearing that mask to games?
So my brother actually started first. He had the gold one originally, and I want to say 2013 is when he first did that. I think it was just at a home game. He just saw it at a Halloween store, which is like where we got him at. So he just wore it to the game one time, and then that season was the last season in our old stadium, and we won our first Big 12 conference, and so he started wearing it there. So it kind of became a thing for him, and then I borrowed it and wore it to the Fiesta Bowl that year that we lost, unfortunately. And then I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I want to do this. Like, you kind of, all these people are like, oh, I want to take pictures of you. And I'm like fresh out of college, and I'm like, this is the start of Instagram and everything. So I'm like, oh yeah, attention. I'm 22. Like, all I want is attention. So, so I was like, all right, I'm going to get this mask. And I found the green one. And then I was like, okay, we'll do this for like one game or something, see how it goes. And then it's like, people are like, oh man, you got to wear the mask of the game. You got to wear the mask. And then, so for me, really, it was 2014 football season. And then like every year I've kind of added a piece. So then I added a chain to it, and then I painted the chain gold. And then, then I was like, I added the neon, like a big Baylor thing for a while. And then it's just kind of downward spiral. So like
bigger and better.
Yeah, so then I got a gold mask this year as a backup because my green one's taken some damage. It likes to fall off of bleachers a lot for whatever reason. I don't wear it the entire time because I got to drink my beer during the game and whatever in my pocket. So but yeah, no, I would say for me, 2014, the year prior for my brother, he's really the originator of it. But I definitely kind of took it. He kind of argues with me about that, as a joke, like
like who's the originator?
Yeah, pay royalties.
On Twitter more often. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're one of a kind, like we said, and honestly, we've been to a lot of schools, met a lot of fans, and you're one of a kind, and in a good way. And it's cool to see because, like Marty said, that's exactly what we love. The game that we go to doesn't really matter. We love the people and getting to know people and getting to know their story, and you have a pretty amazing story. I know, if you don't follow Travis already, follow him, T_Rex 1991, I think, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Twitter?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. It was great catching up with you, and stay safe. And, hopefully we have a football season where you can get out there and do your thing.
No, I appreciate it. And thank y'all for coming to Waco. Y'all's YouTube video was great. Your coverage from everything from Waco to Baylor itself was some of the best coverage I've seen, especially from an outside perspective. So I really appreciate
we had a great experience there. It was one of our top for sure. I mean, Waco and all the fans and the school and administration took care of us, and we felt that they really, provided us with that. So we were able to see all the things, and that's how we were able to make a video. I think that was a little more complete is because we had the opportunity to. So thank you to you and everyone at Baylor. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Travis.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hopefully I see y'all soon. We're playing BYU in a couple of years, or we're going to Oregon in a few more years. So,
hey, Oregon could be a fun one. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'll be the battle of the crazy uniforms if we bring them back. So
yeah, that's right.
Sure.
So I appreciate it, guys.
Well, I know it's a little bit late for you. Thanks again, and have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, boss. Oh, wow, that was awesome. One of a kind. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know, the truest fan right there.
It's unreal.
He's talking about games in the next 3 years. He's like, we're coming to Oregon in a couple of years, like TCU in 2 years.
And he's probably already planning what he's gonna wear too. He's getting it all done, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I gotta ask. I don't understand. How do you become an honorary alumni? What? And how has his brother and his dad all done that?
It's super impressive.
Super impressive.
It's impressive because a lot of people who do that donate like $500,000 or $1 million. So to do that for being passionate is really impressive.
Yeah. It's amazing.
For sure. Awesome. So that was cool. What do you guys think? What are some memories you have from Baylor? What sticks out to you from our Baylor trip, Silas?
T-Rex was my favorite part, to be honest with you. And just like, I wish I was gonna say the same. I wish we could have like had like a proper tailgate with those guys. But we only got it, being on Thursday, we only got to see a little snippet of what it would have been like. But I feel like their little area, they had that truck and the flags. It could have just been popping. So I want to go back and do that again. But yeah, I would say meeting him and meeting all those fans and the tailgate was my favorite part.
I think we got a fifth guest.
Who has a soundtrack?
Yeah. I don't know who the fifth guest is, but we have a fifth guest.
Sorry, you guys. My daughter's just having a tough time.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, when we went to Baylor, it was on a Thursday night, and I don't think we got to see the true tailgating experience. But even with a Thursday night, it was pretty good. But yeah, I think a huge game or a big Saturday game, I mean, it would probably be a whole nother level for sure. Kyle, what sticks out to you with Baylor?
I think I was really impressed with just their athletic department as a whole, kind of from top to bottom. Everybody we interacted with was just a class act, but you could tell that they were kind of continually striving to get to another level. I think a lot of programs that we've seen are pretty content with where they're at. And it just seemed like Baylor just was trying to get better across the board in every category. We talked to people from marketing, from statistics, from all these, departments we didn't even know existed. And so that really made a big impression in my mind.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they realized the impact that those things could have on the school, even bringing us in and take care of us and just they're being very open-minded with everything and all the things they do, and just throwing it all out there and just marketing their school. And I thought that was a really cool thing. Marty, what stood out to you about Baylor?
It's got to be the Baylor line. Here's the deal. I think of myself as a pretty athletic guy, but the administrators were like, here, the Baylor line will run you over. You are not fast enough. You are not quick enough. And I'm like, I don't know how many years removed out of college, 8 or 9 years. But when I saw them run, it's like a stampede from the Lion King with like Simba running for his life. I mean, it was crazy how fast and how crazy the line was, but how controlled it was. So I would say the Baylor line by far was one of my best memories.
Yeah, I agree. We were on the finish line basically and saw that running in, or you were running it, and yeah, it was like a train. There was no way you could stop. I mean, it was unreal seeing all those freshmen running across the field. Cool. Well, yeah, for me, Baylor was a great experience. It was, one of my top, I think, and not just because it was, one of the new, freshest ones that we've done, but because of just the all around everything. I mean, they, from all angles, there was no negatives. I got to feed a bear, I mean, that was pretty amazing. So lots of cool things there, and the people from the administration to faculty to student, everyone was just so gracious and kind to us, and it was an experience that I'm sure I'll remember for a long time. Okay, with that, I kind of wanted to get into some Last Dance stuff, but maybe we should save that till next week when we have Justin.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think we need Justin, because Justin is going to give us the full picture.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So we'll get 2 more episodes under our belt before we do kind of a Last Dance review. I'm wearing my Baylor gear, supporting a little Easter egg for you guys. You guys could have maybe known or gotten the clue.
Marty, I told Jeremy that Marty was observant enough to catch that.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
But if you haven't watched our Baylor video, go watch it. Reach out to us. We'd love to interact with you. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everyone, thanks for Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.